Welcome back to another episode of the group chat where Phil and I are going to unpack the weekend of sport. We had Rugby Championship again, NRL finals, seeming a little bit lackluster, but hey, it is what it is. And as you can probably tell, we're not in studio, are we, Phil?
No, we're back with another ASMR episode, so you're welcome.
The group chat ASMR to soothe your quench. What would you even call that? What do people who listen to ASMR, what does it do for people?
Like an itch, like a scratch, it scratches your brain.
Well, audio only will hopefully,
like one of
a
those.
little bit of ASMR. We should get like a can.
Is it water? Is it vodka? Ooh.
It could be one of the games we play.
Nice.
But no, Rugby Championship and NPC over the weekend. Obviously Premier League, NRL. Keen to check in with you, Phil, towards the end as well. How you going with your learning of the NFL? We're into week 3 now, end of week 3. See how you're feeling. Are you picking up any teams? You're watching along, those sorts of stuff. But we're going to start off with, what was your weekend highlight?
Argentina fans was my highlight. The atmosphere at that game was unreal. Not a highlight from a Springbok perspective, but a highlight from just atmosphere. I'm a big fan of atmosphere.
Yeah.
We knew Selhurst Park for Crystal Palace and Man United was going to be big, but I didn't think Argentina would get up like they did. I know they've got a good fan base, but that probably surpassed. Just the way they got up, they're chanting, they're getting behind their team. They were behind on the scoreboard, and Argentina.
It feels like they're cheering on their football team, like the passion behind their football team.
It was, unreal. It's like Messi was on the pitch or something.
I wish we actually had video, because when you said your highlight was Argentina, my eyebrow nearly hit the roof. I was like, hey.
Did you see the scoreboard? Yes, I did. But talking about highlights, it has to be that fan base.
Yeah. And nice time on a Sunday morning as well.
Well, unfortunately, all of the rugby was pretty much lowlights for me, so the highlights have to be the fans, I guess.
Yeah, well, I mean, when South Africa, the number 1 team in the world, are losing to Los Pumas, then, I don't know, you're not coming up with a very good weekend. And we did talk about whether Argentina posed a threat to South Africa.
Yep.
And we kind of thought they did, because they were less of underdogs than Australia were against New Zealand.
Yep.
I don't know if that's saying more about Argentina or more about New Zealand.
Yep. We talked about if we were taking them too lightly, taking a weaker team, taking a weaker forward pack.
Well, you had 10 changes, didn't you?
7.
7. Still
7
up there.
omissions, yeah.
Yeah. So, do you think they took them too lightly?
Well, I mean, evidently so. Put our trust in players that kind of fumbled the bag a little bit. You put different players in certain positions and you say, we probably get a few more conversions there.
Yeah.
We probably do go for the line out. But I think we were hoping to squeeze a win there and we couldn't get it done.
Well, now you need to go back to South Africa and make sure you get the job done over there to lift the Rugby Championship. If
Indeed.
Argentina win with a bonus point, it'll be theirs.
Could be in for an upset.
I don't know. We'll see about that. But
Spicy.
My weekend highlight was I spent the Saturday, Sunday up in the Bay, in the sunny Hawke's Bay. And the reason it was my highlight is because
it was sunny?
Correct.
Ah, very nice.
It was. We played some cricket, pre-season cricket, and then we went back to the club rooms and we parked up on the balcony as the sun was setting, barbecue cooking, and the rugby on, and it just felt like summer. It was maybe not less or more the rugby on, but just that whole, that feeling of summer's right around the corner. We've got daylight saving kicking in next week, and it just felt good to be out in the sun, getting 22, 23 degrees.
Damn, how good.
So that was my highlight. My low light from a betting perspective was I took the player pick on Betcha for both starting wingers to score. Thinking it was Caleb Clark and Will Jordan, because that's what the team was announced as. Not even kidding when I say 5 minutes later I opened up Twitter and I saw that Bowden Barrett was ruled out and Sevu Reece is coming onto the wing. And my goodness, I wish, if there was ever something I regret, it was not opening up Twitter before I placed that bet, because once I saw Sever Reece in there, I had no faith in that coming through. Although he did flirt with the try line a couple of times.
Yep.
Chances did kind of come his way. But yeah, if it was the Will Jordan, Caleb Clark combo, it would have come in, but
maybe.
Unfortunately not. Let's jump straight into the Rugby Championship then. We knew, regardless of the All Blacks winning, if it was going to be a tight one, the media and the public would be up in arms. You would not hear the end of it. I mean, D-Mac's going to continue getting the slander he's getting, especially, well, we either beat Wallabies by 20 or less than 5. And it was looking like we were going to beat them by more than 20.
It did.
But it ended up being less than 5. Although, do you think the All Blacks can take some confidence from this game, despite it being as much of a nail-biter as it was in those last 20 minutes of the game?
Yeah, I mean, there was a point in that game I thought this was going to be a 50-point game for the All Blacks. What were they up? Sort of 21 points to 0. Something ridiculous.
I think by the time the 21st minute rolled around, we were scoring a point a minute.
Yeah. So Australia only really got into the game after that 20th minute. So I was like, damn, All Blacks are going to run away with this one. So yes, I thought like All Blacks on attack are unreal. They look super dangerous. Wallace Satiti, I thought was exceptional. So it's good to have, him and like Cortez Ratima coming up, the young players that are playing really, really well and actually standing out amongst the pack is also another positive. So yes, to answer your question, there are positives to take away from the game, for sure. And you also still won, so
we did win.
It's not crisis yet.
Got our second win of our Rugby Championship campaign. That is brutal. That was our 5th game and only our 2nd win. As an All Black supporter, you're probably not quite used to that. And I think if Australia were going to beat us in a test match, it would have been over there. So hopefully coming back to the Cape Town this weekend. Although it is a bit of a boneyard for Wellington teams, I reckon we get the job done. But yeah, I think obviously confidence in the fact that we did look very good on attack. We had a couple of tries disallowed as well. Refereeing decisions, again, very inconsistent across what we've come to see over the last couple of games. But we can continue having that conversation as long as rugby exists. So, I think they take a lot away from that. Obviously, Geordie Barrett is probably going to be without him this week. He was in a knee brace celebrating the win after.
Didn't look good. That's like your MCL, ACL sort of business by the looks.
And he was very impactful, I thought. He had a great game up until the end there. I like that you mentioned the likes of Cortez and Wallace Satiti, because let's do an early call for Rookie of the Year. Out of the debutants for the All Blacks this year, who do you think is the standout player? Because we've got obviously Northern Tour to come, so there's still a lot more All Black test matches. I think we had 14 tests this year.
Yep.
We're going to our 6th game, so we're just, I don't know, maybe about halfway. So we're about halfway. Who would be your early call for Rookie of the Year as the All Blacks?
Satiti. Old mate Wallace, he's been a standout performer for me. There's obviously a lot of other debutants that haven't really had much of a run-in yet. So hopefully they will with the other test matches. But, man, like last weekend, he was just always there. I think any time the All Blacks had a breakaway or someone busted through the tackle, he was, they then go for the offload. First person there is Wallace Satiti. He was taking every single offload, I swear to God. I was like, man, this guy is everywhere. He was hard not to see and not to admire. I thought he had an insane game. I think he had 16 carries that game, which is
South
insane.
Africa?
No, against Australia.
Oh, yeah, on the weekend just gone.
16 carries is insane work rate. So, yeah, Wallace, if he keeps performing like that, well, it's easy work for him. He'll take it out for sure.
Well, they reckon he's a pretty special player. I saw someone liken him to Michael Jones, Iceman. I think it's a bit too early to tell, but he definitely is. He could definitely own that number 6 jersey and that kind of Jerome Kaino kind of role. But I had him as my standout player as well. I would like to see him at 8 though, move Artie to 7 and then have Blackadder at 6.
Yeah.
I want to see how Wallace goes at 8. I mean, if it doesn't work, we know he's got the goods to be our number 6 anyway and own that jersey.
Right.
But because you went for Wallace, I mean, I do agree, but you could also make the case for Cortez Ratama. Purely like, I saw Cam Roygaard back in training with the All Blacks, which is great. But I don't think he walks straight back into the team anymore because halfback's not our issue. Maybe he does start and then we've got Cortez coming off the bench, which would be unreal. Either way, Cortez starting and Roygaard off the bench, I think that's going to be very strong. And Cortez doing what he's doing, the way he's kind of just found his place, found his rhythm so quickly in Test rugby, very impressive. So I think you can make a great case for him as well, depending on what they do with selections and whether he continues to get the chances once Roygaard is back from injury. So,
yeah, halfback's looking a little bit stacked.
Yeah, no, it's good. I think going into this Test match in Wellington, he'll just look to keep building and hopefully we get to see Wallace again and we just take this momentum from last week's win and just really run with it and hopefully all the younger players start to develop more and more confidence. We just keep building.
Yeah.
As well as Razor. I mean, he's a debutant as well for the All Blacks. I don't think he's winning Rookie of the Year the way he's been going, but we'll see how he finishes up.
Crazy.
Going into this next weekend, should we preview the South Africa-Argentina test first? What do you have to say about that?
Why don't we save the preview for Thursday, Friday?
Oh, you're going to have a couple of tips on it, eh?
I also want to see the lineups because I'm not really sure what's going to happen.
Yeah? Do you think the fans are going to match
we can touch on it briefly. What, the fans at the Cake Tin?
No, South Africa, Argentina. I don't think that's a question we need to ask. I don't think the fans at the Cake Tin are going to match
fans,
what Argentina
had. Where are they playing?
The South African game?
Yes.
It is over in South Africa.
Indeed.
Let's have a quick look. They will be playing at... What is that stadium? Mbombela Stadium.
Oh, yeah, Nelspruit. Yeah, sick.
Yeah.
Surely.
Yeah, what's the atmosphere like there? They get around it? It's not quite Ellis Park, I'm guessing.
If you can just think of just a bunch of braais, a bunch of Afrikaans people, a bunch of beer, they'll be loud, they'll be vocal.
Yeah.
Might not get the full sort of experience like you had at Emirates, but they will be very vocal.
Yeah.
You can be sure of that.
Especially after losing the first game.
Yeah.
And that
The
could
pressure
seal
is
the
on.
deal for the Rugby Championship as well.
Is on.
So
yeah.
like to get some home sport. All right, that's fine. We'll come back to you on that.
Well, I'm
once
glad
we
we
get some
weren't talking
lineups.
about the Cake Tin atmosphere.
The Cake Tin atmosphere,
didn't-
although it is sold out. Cake Tin
it
has
has
sold
sold
out.
out. Nice,
Yep,
that's good.
I was looking to go, and I kept coming back to it. And I was like, yeah, I do want to go, but I just didn't get around to it. And then I saw it was sold out, and I was like, I guess I'm not going.
You snooze, you lose.
Yeah, but no, good to see it sell out. So I'm guessing there's going to be about 36,000, which is about half of what they had in Sydney. I think there's about 70,000 in that test match on the weekend.
Crazy.
So rugby's not dead in Australia.
No.
They've had some good crowds over there. So that's good to see. We'll leave the All Blacks Australia game then as well. It's only fair. We'll wait for both teams to come out.
Go a bit more in depth with it.
So then I guess we jump to the NPC, and with 2 rounds left until playoffs, I was having a quick look at the futures market.
Yep.
So who's going to lift the trophy? Tasman Wellington, favourites at 275. Is there anyone you think, looking ahead, that are going to challenge either of those two teams and make it through to the final and then potentially go on and win it? Is there anyone worth you'd sprinkle your money on?
Yeah, I think
in
there
those
are
futures markets?
There's a few teams that can challenge.
Yeah.
As you know, what was it? My hot streak the last week was for Waikato to end Tasman's, and they came bloody close, losing in overtime to a penalty. So they lost by 1 point, I think it was, something ridiculous. Mm-hmm. Or they were ahead by 1 point at that stage. So yeah, Waikato already shows that they can challenge Tasman. I think Taranaki have had some good results.
Yep.
Bay of Plenty as well, although like those two teams are kind of hit or miss.
What, Bay of Plenty and Taranaki?
Yeah, they can show that they can pump teams, and obviously Waikato has shown that they can go toe-to-toe with Tasman as well. So I don't think, even with the yellow card that they got as well, I think in the first half, so you can make a claim for a few of those teams, but obviously Tasman and Wellington have been the most consistent this season.
I reckon if you had looked at the futures markets 2 weeks ago, Hawke's Bay would have been up there as your third favourite.
Yeah.
So it's Wellington, Tasman at $2.75. Then you've got Bay of Plenty next at $6.
Yeah.
Canterbury at $8. Taranaki at $8. Waikato at $10.
Wow. Okay, well, I guess I'm jumping on Waikato then.
Auckland have jumped Hawke's Bay. Hawke's Bay now paying $15 after their result on the weekend.
Auckland have dropped off heavy. I'm not too sure what's gone on with them, but they started the season really strong, and then last 2 weeks they've been pumped by like 50 points.
Hawke's Bay?
Yeah.
Yeah. We were out in the town on Friday in Napier, and the Hawke's Bay boys came into Paddy's. They weren't too happy, were they?
Yeah, I don't know if you should be at the bar if you're losing games like that.
Yeah, it's a great point.
Maybe
they got pumped. Maybe they had to drink the sorrows away.
Yeah, maybe that is the issue, perhaps.
It could be. Then you've got North Harbour paying $41. Otago, Counties Manukau, $151. Then you got poor old Northland. The north, the very north and the very bottom, Northland, Southland, both paying $1,001.
Come on, Stags, you can tell.
I think mathematically the Stags can still make it.
Come on.
I think they just need to keep winning.
Yeah.
And I think every other team above them needs to keep losing. Yeah. I think there is a way that the Stags can still make it. So maybe that 1,001 isn't quite as much of a long shot as we think it is. Crazy. So Waikato at $10 tickles you?
It has to be.
Yeah.
As biased as that sounds, yeah. They look good against Tasman. I really thought they were going to win that one. So yeah.
Okay.
They've looked the most convincing recently anyway. Them or Bay of Plenty probably for me. I think Hawke's Bay are just going to continue to drop off.
Yeah, I think the way Bay of Plenty handled Hawke's Bay on the weekend proves they are probably that third favourite.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't be surprised. But in my heart of hearts, I see it's a Wellington-Tasman final.
Yeah.
Which once again, there'll be just myself and my brother rooting for Wellington. The rest of the family will be going for Tasman. But at the end of the day, if Tasman can hang on to the shield, I'll be happy. And if Wellington can win the NPC title, I'll be happy. And everyone will be content. So that's probably my ideal scenario now that Wellington can't have the shield either.
Definitely don't sound like a plastic fan at all. Definitely not. Glory hunting, definitely not.
Yeah, I know that's tough, but it is what it is.
Do you support Man City as well?
Wow, do you want to get to that Man City game? Because that Man City-Arsenal rivalry, it's got to be one of the best ones in the league at the moment, and it's certainly something you want to see from the top two sides contending for the Premier League trophy. You think it's one of the top rivalries at the moment?
I think the only rivalry in the Prem that beats that one.
Don't say the Manchester derby.
No, Everton and Wolves. The rivalry of who can concede more goals between those two teams is unreal. And they're going hard at it, both conceding 14 goals already this season. So that's always an exciting watch too.
I was going to say after the weekend it might be Wolves may have overtaken Everton and most conceded, but they're tied at 14.
Dead even.
Yeah, it's going to be a tough battle.
That's what I'm talking about. That's where all the exciting football happens, down the bottom of the table.
Yeah, well, Everton managed to secure their first point.
Yes.
By ruining the group chat assist. But that's what the group chat assist is there for.
Yep.
So I got my $20 bonus cash back. Thank you.
The comeback was looking good.
Leicester to win from behind would have been glorious.
But yeah, not to be.
Back to that Man City-Arsenal game. Have you seen all the comments and everything that's come from the players? Like Bernardo Silva, he's been very vocal about it. Obviously Pep has said about the Kyle Walker situation, that he's just going to tell his players not to go up to the referee when asked because he was caught out of position. Bernardo Silva said, first goal, referee called our captain, then didn't allow him to recover his position. Second goal, their usual block to our keeper allowed by the referee. And, I mean, Arsenal, as part of that, Man City just weren't physical enough in the corner, so they're just kind of whinging and crying. This point kind of hit home was the Liverpool on the rivalry between Man City and Arsenal. This is what Bernardo Silva had to say. Liverpool have won a Champions League and Arsenal haven't. This is why the rivalry is also different. Let me add that Liverpool always face us with a clear intention of winning the game. I guarantee you, Arteta and Arsenal went to the Etihad with the intention to win that game.
Yeah.
No football team is going,
100%.
especially if you're competing for the title, you're not going there without the intention to win.
Yeah.
So those points, pretty comical from Bernardo Silva, and I feel like any time we can get under the skin of Manchester City, the champions that they are, if we can get under the skin and annoy them and, I mean, get away with a 2-2 result, I would have been surprised. I even said it while we were up in Hawke's Bay. I think we could get 1 goal and our defence would be good enough to hold them out. I struggle to see us scoring 2. So us scoring 2 goals, fantastic. And then to concede in the 100th minute of the game, 10 men for the whole second half.
Yeah, 45 minutes plus with only 10 men.
Proud of them.
Great effort from Arsenal. I did not expect them to hold out with the 10 guys, but they did for so long. And I didn't really understand what the beef is with. Did you see what happened between Haaland and
throwing the ball at the back of Gabriel's
Not even that. But Haaland saying "stay humble" to Arteta at the end of the game. Did you see that?
Oh yeah.
What's the beef there? Has Arteta said something in the past?
I don't know, because was Haaland at Man City when Arteta was there? I don't think he was. So there's no previous relationship there.
What is the beat? He goes, stay humble, and then that's when Gabriel Jesus steps in. He's like, man, what are you talking about, sort of thing, and tries to steer him away from Arteta because Arteta was clearly like offended by what he was saying.
Yeah.
And you talk about the irony of Haaland saying, telling a coach to be humble when he's just thrown like a ball at the head of Gabriel after scoring.
Yeah, that was ridiculous, with no repercussions either. VAR checked it and was like, nah, it's fine.
And also, you failed to beat a 10-man team. Yeah. You failed to beat a 10-man team. You've then gone up, you've thrown the ball at someone's head, and you've gone to their coach and said, stay humble, after drawing to a 10-man team at home. Also running away from Gabriel as well. He wanted no beef. I'm surprised there was no reaction there. I guess Gabriel was too distraught.
Shows the maturity of the squad.
But definitely the funniest thing I've seen.
Outrageous.
I couldn't believe it.
Also, the same refereeing crew that didn't send off Kovacic after he went studs up through one of the Liverpool players' chest because he didn't want to ruin the game. Yet we'll send Trossard off in the first half, one for time wasting, yellow card, and that other one, which I think if you're calling the foul, it's a foul. And we discussed this morning, maybe it's a yellow from the descent and kicking the ball away.
Right.
Again, I don't know if it's enough for a second yellow though.
What is it with Arsenal and kicking the ball away, man? But you're right. I think if that's not Man City or not Haaland throwing the ball at someone's head, someone's getting a card for that.
100%.
For that
I don't want to ruin the game,
conduct, as they say.
Get out of it, man.
So yeah,
that was
interesting.
For the fellas to put out for 45 minutes and just defend, lock in and defend, pretty impressive.
Yep. Also, in fairness, I guess Haaland does have to have some kind of an ego after cracking double figures, only 5 games into the season.
Yep. And he scored his 100th goal.
Yep, breaking a record back from 92, the 93 season.
Yep.
Mickey Quinn, he had the record, taking 6 matches to reach 10. So Haaland just bet yet another one. Yep,
and he tied Ronaldo's fastest to 100 goals. Across all competitions. I think he did it in 104 games, same as Ronaldo. So he is sitting in pretty good company. So he can run his mouth, like he can back it up. But I just think I don't know. Seems like there are a whole bunch of crybabies after that result. And I don't know if the lawsuit and everything that's hanging above them, there's a bit of pressure hanging over them. Are they going to crack? Because they could be playing League 2 next year. And I think that scares a few of them. Reports coming out that some of them want to leave.
Imagine Man City going to Cheltenham Town FC next season.
They wouldn't beat Barnsley 7-0.
And they'll be telling Cheltenham FC, stay humble, stay humble.
Yeah.
Ah.
One of the
very
teams that I feel like needs to stay humble is Chelsea.
Ooh.
I do rate what they're doing, but I think with all the egos in that team, that is something they need to make sure they're doing. If they start winning, there's a lot of egos that could just fly through the roof.
It's a lot of players.
I think they're a team that needs to stay humble. But my question for you is, do you think Chelsea are a top 4 team or could be a top 4 team come the end of the year?
Yeah, well, according to the Premier League table, no. They are a top 5 team. But, yeah, I mean, they've been playing well.
Yep.
No doubt about it. I think, they've scored 11 goals this season. Second highest in the comp, third strongest point difference.
Bear in mind, 6 of them came in one game.
Yeah, regardless.
But still.
Regardless. They've only lost to City, and that was at the first game of the season.
Yep.
So they're looking good. They've got Sancho going back-to-back assists for them as well.
Sancho just needed a place where he could succeed, and Manchester United was not the place. And that's not a dig at United either. That's just
I mean, it is,
not
but
being
it's correct. Nicholas Jackson as well. He's a guy who creates a lot of chances, but recently has actually been finding the back of net from those chances.
And he's been assisting goals as well. I
Yeah.
think he had, a goal and an assist on the weekend, and he's had goals and assists previous weekends. When you get guys like Nico Jackson...
Or he had a double last week, something like that.
Yeah, well, I think, his GA for the season is pretty good.
Yeah.
And then you get the likes of Cole Palmer having
Yeah.
the impact he does. He's going to be the most fouled player, I think, in the Premier League this year. And then you have Caicedo and Enzo who are actually starting to run the midfield a little bit better, how you'd expect them to.
Yeah.
I don't know, I think they're like a boom or bust team. Like, you're either going to get the best out of them one week, and then you could get the worst out of them again.
Yeah.
I don't know if the consistency is there for them yet to solidify that top 4, but I definitely see them hanging around that top 6 kind of mark.
Yeah, I think they'll struggle in that top 4 spot with Liverpool. Aston Villa looking good, staying in that top 3 that we talked about at the beginning of the season.
Yep.
Aston Villa so far so good. But yeah, you're right. It just depends on the future results and if they can. I think it comes down to Jackson as well, because he can be pretty inconsistent. It's been talked about that he misses. He's a bit of a Nunez. He can get into these insane spots. He can score some insane goals, but he can also miss some very, very crucial easy goals. So when you come back to the bigger games, if he's missing those easy goals, then maybe they will. But at the moment, he's flying.
Yeah, and I mean, they're going to run with them while they can. So
Yep.
I think plenty of positives. You're a Chelsea fan. How does it feel to be a United fan at the moment? Currently sitting in 11th, but you've got the second most clean sheets. It feels like the defence is kind of sorting itself out here.
Yep.
You just got to keep scoring goals. I mean, a 0 draw with Crystal Palace. You're both fighting in that middle of the table battle at the moment.
Yep.
I don't know. It feels like United and Ten Hag maybe starting to figure it out slightly.
Yeah. I didn't realise we were 11th, so as a fan I was feeling good until you told me that.
Yeah.
But that's all things considered, like it's pretty close across the table there. What are we? Only conceded 5 goals. Not too bad.
3
Not
clean
too bad.
sheets.
3 clean sheets, yeah. Onana looking good. Our defence is starting to sort themselves out, as you said, and Lenny Yoro isn't even in the team yet, so great signs. Hoyland will be coming back into the team. He got a run in last week.
Onana's your top fantasy scorer for United.
He is. I think Mesraoui would be up there as well. He's doing pretty decent. What was the question?
How are you feeling as a United supporter after 5 weeks of footy?
Well, it's certainly entertaining. Definitely positives to take out of each game we've played. The 7-0 against Barnsley, fantastic, highlight of the year.
Have you seen all the clips of it being BAR? And it's just like United fans telling my kids that we beat Barcelona 7-0. Well, that was the first thing I saw.
Yeah, that's class.
From my mates once you guys beat Barnsley 7-0. So
yeah. In saying that, we are missing clear opportunities.
Yeah.
That we should be putting away. Garnacho missing a couple. Probably Xerxes could have had a few of those headers as well. Just a little bit off target at the moment, but defense looking tight, looking on form. Onana looking good, which is great. Great to have a bit of confidence at the back. Now we just need to start securing those easy chances, which has started right from the start of the season, with Rashford passing the ball to Garnacho and Garnacho just missing the goal completely.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. It starts to add up. So
yeah.
Hopefully with Hoyland coming into the mix, that sort of flattens out. And Lenny Yoro, would be good to see him later on this year. But yeah, spicy. Also spicy, that rematch at the Emirates between Man City and Arsenal should be a big one.
That'll be good when they come back. I think Gabriel came out and said we'll be waiting for you at the Emirates.
Yeah.
And
some double foot tackles perhaps.
Oh boy, there's going to be some cards thrown around there, I can imagine.
Yeah. But I think we've conceded the same amount as City. Liverpool only conceding 1 goal this season.
Yeah, they're looking very good.
They're looking sharp, a lot sharper. Obviously, take away that Nottingham Forest game. They're looking pretty good.
They bounced back very well as well, going to the Champions League, taking care of business, and then winning again this weekend. So it's not like that set them back at all, it seems like. So interesting to see how they responded, and they responded very well. We get into preliminary finals of the NRL, I just wanted to do a bit of true or false. So I've got some opinions here, and you just tell me whether you agree true or you disagree, so false.
It's NRL?
NRL.
Oh, yeah.
But I'm going to tie it into the Premier League for this first question. So, NRL has become just like the English Premier League. The same teams continue winning or are on top. All right? The last 7 years, there have been 3 teams to win. Storm, Penrith and Roosters. And we're going to see one of those 3 teams win again.
Yeah.
And it's the same as the Premier League. Thoughts?
Yeah.
It's just come like it.
Yeah, true.
Yeah?
Kind of have sort of 2 or 3 teams kind of dominating, just looking next level compared to everyone else. I would say NRL is just as competitive, if not more as competitive as the Premier League as well. So
between those top sides or right across the board?
Right across the board.
Yeah?
I thought NRL, you get some really mixed bag results. Premier League, you can get some really Nottingham Forest beating Liverpool, for example. So, and you get the same story in the NRL. You get some shock results. So, I think equally as competitive, and yeah, probably the same sort of teams have been dominating the last couple of seasons. So, hard to disagree. True.
Okay. Both of the preliminary finals this weekend will end 13 plus.
I disagree. False. I think maybe that, although, the Roosters' injuries, I think maybe giving the Panthers a little bit too much credit. Roosters still look good for me. They dominated the Manly Sea Eagles.
They did.
Sharks.
The half kind of strength Manly Sea Eagles, though.
Yes, but regardless, still pumping Manly. And I think they'll put up a good effort against the Storm. Storm, I think, will be too good for them.
Yep.
But they've been known to be a bit, sort of shaky on the defence. But you've got too many key players in that Storm side. They will be dominant enough. I'm not sure about a 13 plus. Panthers over the Sharks, I can see happening. I don't think the Sharks are quite at that level. And Panthers is Cleary fit to play?
I think so.
I think he'll just dictate that game, to be honest. And there's been question marks around Cleary all season. Not Cleary, Nico Hines, and I don't know. I think we undervalue how close these games could be. I don't see a blowout. I don't want a blowout either, is probably my method of thinking as well. I'm trying to convince myself that it's not going to be boring, one-sided 50 points to 10.
It's sort of what it kind of has been through this final series, hasn't it, through the first 2 weeks?
You want the prelims to be close, so I think Storm and Roosters will be an exciting game. I don't see Storm getting 13 plus.
Okay. So you think it could be in that matchup, would you take the Roosters plus 10.5, or would you go Storm 1-12?
Probably Storm 1-12.
The margin you're getting Storm 1-12 is $3. Whereas Roosters plus 10.5, you're getting $1.90.
Oh, yeah, go on. 1-12.
So Storm 1-12.
So everyone's expecting the 13 plus. I'm
13
hoping for a
plus
close
is paying
game.
$2.10, yeah.
Yeah. So I guess, well, what I want and what will happen might be two different things, but yeah, I'll say false.
Okay. And same again in that Panthers game. I think the Panthers are going to be too strong for
I think
the
Panthers
Sharks.
blow them out the water.
I think we could see, if there was one of them going to go 13 plus,
Yeah.
I think that's going to be the Panthers game. And it looks like the bookies agree, paying $2.05 for the Panthers to win 13 plus. Line set at minus 11.5. So you think it might go a close one in the Roosters game?
I would like
Roosters
a close one.
Storm.
Yeah.
Penrith, if Cleary, well, he showed he could come in and dictate that game straight
Yeah,
away
100%.
and at a very high level.
Yeah.
Showed he can do that.
Yeah.
If he can do that again, and there is no reason to say why he can't, I reckon they win 13 plus.
Yeah.
The last question for you, or the last opinion, is the Bledisloe Cup should emulate an Origin series. For it to be one and done is ridiculous. The All Blacks would win 2 anyway. Do you think Bledisloe Cup, rather than being a 2-game series, should emulate an Origin series?
True. Yes. 100%. It's something I've even thought about in the past. I think it's ridiculous that it's one and done.
Yeah.
Even if, what is it, the one season they even drew, I think, or something like that. And I just think, man, there really should be a third game in this.
All the All Blacks need to do every year is win one.
Yeah.
Win one.
Yeah.
That's all you have to do.
But then at the same time, I don't know. The last couple of seasons, Wallabies have been so poor anyway. But, you know, game like last weekend, I think that warrants a 3-game series. And it just makes it a bit more exciting. And you could really just hype it up as its own thing.
Would you go? Yeah, like that's the thing. Origin gets so much hype around it because it's its own
Yeah.
thing. And I think the Bledisloe Cup being so special to New Zealand, you want to make it a bit more of a whole experience, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Would you go the holder gets 2 home games and the challenger gets 1 away game? Or would you like to see a neutral venue, say they play the third one in Fiji, or they play the third one, like Tasmania could be neutral because I don't know how many.
So go play at Twickenham.
Yeah. Play the third game up when you both go and do your Northern Tour.
You probably have to do a sort of, I don't know. The trophy holder will have to have some sort of advantage, surely.
I reckon they get the 2 home games.
I think they get 2 home games, yeah.
Yeah, and the challenger gets... That's all I had on your NRL, true or false. So 2 trues, 1 false.
Yep.
Yep. Was there anything else you wanted to add going into finals, or are we going to touch on that on Thursday?
The Wars are going to win next season, true or false?
Ooh, win what? How many games? The whole thing?
The whole thing.
What I want and what I think will happen are 2
it's true or
different
false.
things.
It's true or false.
So if I'm going on what I want to happen, I'm saying true.
Yeah.
We'll go true.
Next year's are, yeah, for sure.
What I do want to happen is the Chiefs to three-peat it. So we're going to jump to the NFL. Just going to do a quick roundup and check in, like we said earlier, where you are at with the NFL. But I was big on betting against the Carolina Panthers, against the Raiders, especially after the Raiders just came out and beat the Ravens.
Oh, yeah.
This was, however, before my knowledge that the Panthers were benching Bryce Young and starting veteran Andy Dalton, who diced up the Raiders, and kind of proves that Bryce Young may have been the problem and not the Panthers as an organisation as a whole. A couple more key takeaways was there's more controversy around the refs and during the Chiefs, but that's exactly the dynasty we got with the Patriots when they won all those years with Tom Brady, so no surprises there. The 49ers, though, lose back-to-back games after a comeback drive led by Matthew Stafford. Great to see that. Also, the Dolphins season is done.
Dolphins got pumped.
They are in shambles. The wide receivers are in shambles with no quarterback. One thing I think they should do is trade for Bryce Young and see how Bryce Young goes there. An early long call shot for an MVP would be Vikings Sam Darnold. He's putting up some serious numbers as he's led the Vikings to one of the only 5 undefeated teams. The Bills joined them tonight after dominating the Jags. Then we've also got the Steelers, who are 3-0, the Seahawks, who are 3-0, and the Chiefs, who have won 3 narrow victories, but still 3-0. That's kind of what I kind of took away from week 3. But how are you with your NFL? You decided a team you're going to back this year. You're kind of getting into it. You're feeding or giving it a bit of attention.
What I do know is that the NFL is unbelievably consistent. The only thing that remains consistent is Chiefs controversy, thanks to the refs. So I am learning, but it's really hard to sort of pick head-to-heads in this league.
Underdogs feasted again this week.
They did. I saw something about the Vikings game. They said, like, are the Vikings genuine? Like, are you guys real? And I think it may have been Arnold. He was like, yeah, we're for real. So they're looking to have a big season. I mean, I got a Polamalu Steelers shirt, so probably has to be heading towards the Steelers. I also enjoy watching the Ravens and the Bills. I see the Bills returned a huge win today. Obviously missed that one because we're working hard. But
absolutely.
Yeah, unbelievably inconsistent. You talk about competitiveness and, you know, these competitive leagues. I think the NFL, it's not even competitive for me. This is just like, it's so hard to pick results. This is like underdog city at the moment. And then the Bengals went down today as well to the Commanders.
Who are now 0-3
so
at home as well.
It's too inconsistent for my liking at the moment. But I'll continue to enjoy watching Bills, Ravens, and Steelers, I guess.
Well, the Steelers are in good stead, led by Justin Fields, who was QB2 going in the year. They do look like fun to watch, and they do have the best defense in the league. So if they're scoring 20 points a game, they're probably winning most of those games. So the Steelers could be a good one to jump on.
Ravens also exciting, you know. They give me the Man United level of heart attack where they go up, you know. Big margins, 28 points to 6, and then they almost throw the game. I go, there we go, there's a bit of excitement. Bit of Man United energy about them, so they're always a fun watch too.
And Lamar Jackson, 2-time MVP. All right, so that's improvement. We're getting there. And obviously, I'm trying to get you there because we've only got 1 more week of Rugby Championship, 2 more weeks of NRL, a few more weeks of NPC, which means once that all wraps up, we'll have the A-League and Premier League, football-wise, but you're going to have to start watching the NFL, unless you're getting into the NBA as well. All the American sports start to kick off, so...
Don't think I can crack the NBA scene, but we'll probably have to be NFL in the match day, the Premier League match day on a Saturday night. It's going to have to keep me going.
Well, I'm going to keep pushing you into the NFL scene. We'll keep trying to have those conversations and see where we end up. But that's all I've got for you on this audio-only episode of the group chat. And we will catch you again with some more tips. My tips on the Premier League, all over $2 odds. I went 7 for 10. So
solid.
We're making good money there. But we'll figure out where we're going to go. And we'll be back on Friday, previewing the weekend of sport. Let's go. See you then. Thanks for listening.